Welcome once again on my YouTube channel. It's your boy Lesiba Mothupi, and if you haven't, please do make sure to hit the subscribe button just so you can be able to just stick with me as I drop a lot of valuable content. So on today's video, we're actually going to be answering questions like so normally what happens is that Tuesday I get to ask questions, like I ask people what it is that you'd like me to cover on the YouTube videos, and then they give me these types of answers, whatever they're struggling with, and then I come and then I help them solve that. So on today's video, we are actually going to be speaking about top-down analysis. So make sure that you do sit down, get as much value as you can from this video, and then I'll see you at the very end. Okay, I actually want us to jump here on the slides that I've done, so you can be able to see the notes that I do have before we jump onto the charts, so you can see what it is that top-down analysis would help you with, and like how to actually apply these methods with the specific time frames. And so when you go onto the charts, you'd know that okay, he mentioned that on the specific time frame we'd be looking for this specific let's say pattern or confirmation, depends. So now on the weekly time frame, weekly and daily, basically what I wrote down here is that we look for the overall momentum and trend. We basically look for the direction, basically. So what happens is that like when you're on the weekly time frame or on the daily time frame, one thing that you should see is whether the market is in an impulsive phase or it's in a corrective phase. And as well, once you have noted that, the nature's theory applies too. After you've noted that, you start to see what kind of movement is it. Is it an upward movement or a downward impulse, a downward movement? Once you get that down, you understand that okay, you are able to spot the momentum. So now you have to just start to look at where the market is going. Like when it's upward, obviously the banks are going to be investing to the upside. When it's downwards, obviously the banks are going to be investing to the downside. Why would you want to be in the opposite direction? So you have to just stick with the momentum. So going on to the next time frame, we speak of the 4-hour chart. So after looking at the weekly and daily, we go to the 4-hour chart, same pair. We go to the 4-hour chart, and then we start to look for the chart patterns, confirming the overall momentum and trend. Either could be a continuation pattern or reversal pattern. So let me just explain this a bit deep. So like on the weekly and daily time frame, let's say you saw a beautiful downward trend there. After you've seen that okay, it's at this point, it's at now resistance level of the daily let's say maybe resistance level of the daily trend line, and now on the 4-hour time frame we start to look at what pattern is it print. Like did it print a continuation pattern, which means that it's going to continue to go to the downside, or did it print a reversal pattern, which means that it can break out and then go to the upside. So we need to start looking at such things, and once you are able to spot this, you know that you are looking for like what you're going to experience would be a change of trend. Like it's going to be something that it's going to go from being a downward trend to an upward trend, or you know for sure that it's just going to continue going to the downside, on which much better opportunities are when you just continue to go to the downside, because it's much better that way, like you are going on the right side of the momentum or trend. And the next time frame that you're going to move to is the 1-hour chart. At the 1-hour chart, we look for entry confirmation based on candlestick patterns and tight corrections that break out. So basically what this means is that like on the 1 hour, once we have confirmed our overall momentum and trend, our chart patterns, whether we are breaking to the downside or we are going upwards, and then now on the 1-hour chart, we wait for entry confirmations. Like we have all these things that we need to take a trade. Now we're just waiting for confirmations of signals that would come from candlestick patterns. Maybe it could be a rejection candle, could be an engulfing candle, or also tight corrections. Basically what tight corrections could be is that, like let's say if you are on a resistance level of a 4-hour chart on which is going to be a continuation pattern to the downside, a tight correction would be, let's say a tight flag that's in between that's going to break to the downside. So you can either take that, or you can maybe wait for just an engulfing candlestick. But let us jump onto the charts, and then I'll show you guys what it is that I mean when I speak of all these points that we spoke of. We mentioned the weekly, the daily, we mentioned also the 4-hour, and as well the 1 hour. So now I want to show you guys a quick example on EURUSD, on which this is a setup that we caught even this day. Today morning we caught this setup, and also a few weeks ago I've been analyzing it, coming up with better ways forward, or now I can be able to just be 10 steps ahead of the market, because EURUSD is one of the pairs that are major pairs. So you just have to have it on your top setups, like once it does give you that setup. And I noticed that on the bigger time frame, we are now on the weekly time frame, as you can see here. We've got our first touch here, we've got our second touch, price came give us a third touch here with the beautiful pattern, dropped all the way to the downside. But now see how price is moving to the downside here. It's moving downwards, though in a corrective manner. So now from this, I was able to just spot that, okay, now yes, we are in a downward move, and here on our support line, we've got our first touch, second touch. Hopefully we can get a third touch here in the longer run. at the same time, just by looking at the daily, there's high chances of price also, since this is moving downwards in a corrective manner, there's high chances of it also coming down, I'll show you guys a bit on that, coming down to a third touch and then going to the upside maybe here, then going all the way downwards. But our overall target is all the way down to here. So that's why I keep on looking for sell opportunities instead of buy opportunities. The market is more, it moves more when it's actually when you're actually catching those sells, So just by going on the daily time frame, I was able to show you that on the week the momentum is to the downside. On the daily time frame, as you saw, I went to the daily. There we go. On the daily time frame, same thing that we saw on the weekly, but this is much better. As you can see, the momentum is to the downside. Now, we've got our first touch here, second touch, exactly at the third touch. Price gave us a beautiful candlestick. I'll show you guys a bit. I'll show you about that on the smaller time frame. But you can see on the third touch, we're looking for sell opportunities. That's one thing that I kept on looking for. And here on the support line, we've got our first touch, second touch. Obviously, a third touch here would be nice. So that's why I have my first target being here, or second target would be, and then overall target would be on the weekly down there. But one thing that I like about this is that, like, even the daily is showing you that we are moving downwards. Why would you want to buy on a market that's saying that we're moving downwards, So just by understanding that, I was able to see that the momentum, the direction is all the way to downwards. So it's better for me to actually look for, instead of looking for buy opportunities, let me look for sell opportunities. If I see a buy opportunity, it's only a short-term buy opportunity. But if I see a sell one, it could be a long-term sell opportunity. So it's much better for me to stay on the positive side of the market, which is why I went and looked for sell opportunities. So let me just go into the 4-hour time frame so you can be able to see. Okay, 4-hour time frame. Remember, on the weekly time frame, we're actually looking for the momentum, the direction, and as well on the daily time frame. But on the 4-hour time frame, we start to look for chart patterns, whether it's a continuation pattern or a reversal pattern. So let's see what this could be. Okay, let me just zoom out a bit. As you can see, I've got my first touch here. Just to separate this, this is what we call pattern separation in the Forex Chasers team. But just by separating this, the impulsive move, the correction, won't go a bit deep on that. But as you can see, we've got our first touch, second touch. Now here the third touch. Remember, on the 1-hour time frame, I mentioned that we look for either a tight flag or candlestick confirmation. I'll show you guys a bit that, or when you dive into the 1-hour time frame. But you can see, as soon as we got to our third touch, that's what we started looking for sell opportunities. So also here on the first touch, second touch, currently we are about to break. As you can see, our price is approaching here. We are about to break this level, this support areas here, because now price has confirmed that we are going to the downside. Also, something that I like is that just by looking at this, you are able to see that it's a continuation pattern, because this is an ascending type pattern. And ascending type patterns break out to the downside when it's an ascending type pattern, it breaks to the downside. So when you are actually in a downward trend and you get an ascending type pattern, it could be a retracement, whatever, but whatever the pattern is, it acts as a continuation pattern at the end of the day, because at the end it's gonna break to the downside. So it's continuing its trend instead of reversing and going to the upside. So we are able to spot that this is a continuation pattern to the downside. So I knew that we have to just keep on looking for sells. And just by understanding this price, I went to the smaller time frame, 60-minute. And as soon as we got to the third touch, I would use my buy replay button just to show you guys actually what I was looking for here. But let me just leave it out a bit and just focus on what has already happened and how I was able to capitalize on today's 3-2. So just by looking now at the 60-minute time frame, 1-hour chart, this is where I get my entries. So it could either be multi-touch entry, as you can see, like first touch here, second touch, third touch, I could take it. But remember, we spoke of candlestick patterns, like candlestick confirmations. Like candlestick confirmation, what I meant is that, take a look at this candle. As soon as it got to the resistance area, it gave us this beautiful bearish candlestick, on which this is a very powerful tool. So what could have happened here is that you could have easily just placed your sell trade here, sell position right here, just below it, stop loss here, and just take a look at how stop loss is. Stop loss will never be more than 30 pips. That's how I like them. And then target could just be, your first target could be here, risk reward of 1:4, and obviously all the way down, but I won't go all the way down to where our overall target is. But this could also be an entry, or another entry could be after, as soon as you can see here, as soon as price was broke out of this structure here with this beautiful engulfing candle. After it broke out, remember we spoke of a breakout, we spoke of also candlestick patterns. So as soon as price breaks out, you could have just had your sell, stop loss right here, 16 pips, amazing. Same target, maybe close to here, could be holding a 6%, something close to a 6%. So now that's the first type of an entry scenario, and you take such a trade. But now let's say price impulsed away and you can't get an entry. There's always there will always be an opportunity for an entry. As you can see in here, price gave us this beautiful flag. Could easily just place the sell opportunity here after it has broke out here, after it has confirmed that we're going downwards. So you could have easily caught this. Let's see, caught this. Stop loss would be just a 9 pip, 10 pip, but I would stick to 15 pips. Could easily went down all the way down. It was like giving us like a 2.9% all the way down to here. Could easily, let's say, aim for that. And as well, one thing that I like is that onto this trade, I'll just try to put the picture somewhere close so you'll be able to see how we caught this trade here. We actually like before it played out, before it broke out to the downside like this, because we caught it somewhere here, and we also caught this one here. These two we didn't catch them. I wasn't really paying too much of attention on it, but today morning I woke up and I was like, let's go back to EURUSD and see what it's giving us. So I was able to spot this. So the way we got it is that also just by looking at this, stop loss is always less than 30 pips, and target will be all the way down. I won't obviously put the target, but it's all the way down to that support level. But this is how I do my top down analysis. This is actually how I am able to break down, get trades from a bigger time frame. So I know that even if I place a trade, hold it, I forget about it, or I don't even put a target, I just manage it. At the end of the day, I'll just still be on the right side of the market because trend is going downwards. So I didn't buy a retracement, you know. I actually sold at the very end of that retracement. So this is actually how I do top down analysis. Don't forget what I mentioned on the weekly time frame, what you look for, on the 4-hour time frame, what you look for as well. Daily, even including the 1-hour time frame. There's times where I get to go on the 15-minute time frame, but this is a bit more aggressive. So let me just show you. There's times where I just go on the 15-minute time frame, and I'll get like beautiful flags. You know, like this is when I'm like looking for an entry right now, and I'm very much awake on the market. Like let's say I'm just at home the whole day, I wouldn't mind just looking at something like this. So you know, even after price broke out of structure, come it retraces. Then I'll take, maybe it broke out, I could either take this breakout, go down with it, or it can come retest, beautiful hammer. Remember, candlesticks are important. Beautiful hammer here. Could take this as a sell, go all the way to the downwards. But this is how I do it. Well, if you didn't get a lot of information from this video, I don't know what it is that you want, because I broke down literally from like the daily, weekly time frame going down to the 4-hour and as well the 1 hour on how you can be able to capitalize on the entries. So this is it. Like I spoke about the top down analysis, and make sure that you do follow me on my Instagram. I'll try to put the username down there. I mean the handle down there, so you can be able to just follow. So next time when I get to ask these questions, you can also be able to be a part of them. And make sure that you're in my Telegram group. I've got a Telegram group which is a public group where I just get all members from wherever you are, and then I'll be able to just share with these videos that I do post. I also share my analysis. I share a lot of information in there to make sure that you join it. And I thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button and like this video if it did help you out a lot. Thank you so much. It's your boy Lesiba Mothupi.